Hey parents, hey, it's your girl Sharita. How y'all doing tonight? Happy Sunday. Listen, we're going to talk real quick about teaching your child how to set and achieve goals, okay? Parents, I got a question for you. Does your child know, right? Does your child know how to achieve a goal? Does your child have a goal that they're working on right now? If not, we're going to have to get that together for you. Okay? I'm going to ask you to click share and click like and comment below, okay? I'm trying to see what's going on with this light. Hope y'all can see me okay. All right, so my name is Sharita Morgan. I'm the Behavior and Learning Strategist coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. I'm also a literacy and math tutor and coach and a parent coach. All right, so we're trying to get our kids ready for the school year. We don't wait until the end of the summer to start getting ready, right? We're doing things way ahead of time here. And one of the best ways to create a transformation for your child to have the best school year they've ever had, for this school year to be better than last school year, is for your child to have goals that they know about and that they are working on. I've been doing this for years. I started out as a mental health specialist. Then I became a special education teacher, and I'm a mom as well. And I've always given kids goals and told them what they was working on, so that they are focused on it. And if a child has a goal that's assigned to them specially for them, they will take ownership of it and they will work on it. Okay? So that's why it's very important. Now, you have to teach your child about setting goals, and also guide them through the goal setting and achievement process. So I'm saying this because when kids are moving towards accomplishing a goal, right? And they're used to failing. They're used to getting things wrong. They're used to quitting. You understand? They have a fear of failure. They're going to try to quit multiple times. If they have a bad day, everything's going to fall apart for them. They're going to feel like this is not working. You can't feel like that though. Mom, parents, you are the most important part of this. You have to be strong when your child starts to be weak. You have to be focused when your child starts to get distracted. You have to have faith when your child starts to feel like it's not going to work. And I'm saying this because you're going through things too. If your child has behavior problems, or they're struggling in school, right? Or they're functioning below grade level, and you've been dealing with this for years, you might even have doubt. You've been going through this with your child, right? And a lot of times parents will give up and not even realize they're giving up. Okay? So you have to stay on it. You have to be focused on the goal. And no matter what your child says or what they do or how bad they feel about, the process and the doubt that they have, you have to stay focused on the goal. You have to tell your child that they're going to achieve it no matter what. You got this. We're on our way. Keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. Tomorrow's going to be better. Just make tomorrow better than the day. You got this. You're a champion. You understand what I'm saying? You have to speak this life into your child throughout the process. Now that I got that out the way, all right, we'll go from the beginning now, but I have to make sure I'll let you moms know that this is crucial before you even start talking about setting goals for your child and teaching them how to achieve them. You yourself have to have a sit down with yourself and tell yourself, this is not going to be easy. My child will achieve this goal. My child will achieve this goal. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be some bad days. There's going to be some good days, but I'm going to stay focused on it. And I'm not going to think for a second it is not going to work. See, that's how I think. When it comes to my kids, when it comes to my students in my tutoring coaching program, and when I was a special education teacher in a classroom, when I was a mental health specialist working with kids, there's never a doubt in my mind that the goal is not going to be achieved. There was never a doubt that that the goal was not going to be achieved, or the student wouldn't be able to do it, or the child would not be able to do it. There's never a doubt in my mind. I'm always focused on continuing until we get there. And I've seen these transformations happen over and over and over. I've seen kids reach, accomplish their goals over and over again over the years, so much that I'm just waiting for the moment for this thing to come together. I'm just waiting for it, and I see when it comes together. So I feel it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a beautiful thing to watch for a child, a young child or an older child, to get to a point where they have accomplished the goal and they feel so good about themselves and they're proud of themselves, and now they're starting to have more faith that they can do anything and they're ready for the next goal. It's a beautiful thing to watch. The students I work with, they so confident now. They so confident. They talk junk now. You know what I mean? I talk junk with them. That's why I'm like, man, Miss Rita about to catch you slipping. You ain't gonna spell this word. Oh, Miss Rita, you always say that. We always spell the word. You know what I mean? We always do it. I play a game. I play games with my students. Them against me. The whole class against me. All my students. So, I run my tutoring coaching program like a class so that they could be equipped to go into the classroom and, be successful in the classroom. So, everybody against me, right? We're playing a spelling game. It's y'all against me. If y'all win, you win. But if I win, then you're going to have to call me queen for the rest of the class because, I just dusted y'all. No, you're not, Miss Sharita. No, you're not going to win. Come on. We can't let Miss Sharita win. Come on, we can't let. We got this. We're the best. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's a beautiful thing when kids develop confidence because they now have been equipped. They have the skills, but they also have the mindset. It's a beautiful thing, okay? How do we get them there? We have to start by doing this assessment. We have to sit down, think about it. And this is what I ask parents, what are your biggest concerns right now? And what are the biggest challenges your child is having, right? That's where you start. Whatever the challenge is, whatever the concern is, whatever your child is not able to do, it becomes a goal. Okay? Because you don't want your child to struggle with the same thing year after year after year after year. Right? So it becomes a goal. Okay? And let me break it down. Let me give you some examples of goals that I've given students over the years. And it's like a lot of students need to work on this. All right, so behaviorally, remain seated. This is a huge problem for kids in school. Is not getting out of their seat multiple times. Can't do that during the class. Not if the class is going to be focused on learning and this it's going to, your child's going to grow and there's some order to the class. Your child can't be hopping up out of the seat whenever they feel like it, walking across the classroom. You know what I'm saying? Now I know in the past when I've said this is something that parents, we need to make sure our kids are doing at home, practicing sitting, right? Sitting down and remaining seated for a period of time. That helps kids stay focused on a task. That helps kids stay focused on their work, their schoolwork, or their homework. If they think they could get up every 5 seconds, there's nothing else getting done. You know, it's imperative. It's so important for them to learn how to do this. And, you know, sometimes parents, you don't like when I say this, because you say, well, my child has trouble with that, and it's in his IEP that he can stand at his desk, he can walk around as long as he's in his area and all this other stuff. But what if your child could stay in their seat and improve their focus? What if they could? You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be better? You know? Hello, Shabanda. How you doing? Long time no see. How you been? What's up, lady? We're talking about setting goals for our kids, okay? It's a big thing. I know you know about that. I know we've done that in the past. So, making sure that if your child, like, for example, it's time for them to have dinner and they hop out of their seat like 5 times and they're not sitting properly. They got one knee in the chair, the other foot on the floor. You know what I mean? They might be falling out the chair. They jumping up asking for stuff. They walking out the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Just think, anything that your child is doing at home where they're unfocused, they're moving around too much, or they don't go with the flow, they're doing in the classroom. So how does that look in the classroom? Right? Is the teacher trying to teach a lesson and the child's getting out their seat and trying to walk across, and they're trying to sharpen their pencil, but pencils were sharpened earlier, but my pencil point broke, and they want to sharpen it, but maybe it's a point in it, but it's not as sharp as they want it to be. So, and I've had students break pencil points on purpose. When I was teaching in the classroom, I've had them do that. So I had to work on that specifically with my students to say, don't be breaking no pencil points. You know what I mean? Right? So anything to get out of their chair. If they're not used to sitting down at home, then when they go into the classroom, they're not going to sit either. Right? So what if you had that as a goal and you talk to your child about it? You know, what if you assigned them the goal, remain seated, and talk to them about what that looks like. When you look at your child, what do you want your child to physically be doing? Not just sit down, but how do you want your child to sit, right? Talk to them about it when it's time for them to eat dinner. How do you want your child sitting at the table? How do you want your child sitting when y'all about to have family movie night? Y'all about to watch a movie together and your child is hanging upside down with their feet hanging off the top of the couch and arms, you know, and they eating snacks and they rolling off the, you know, constantly moving, you know. 2 things with that. One, we make sure our kids have an outlet, make sure they get outside, run around. You know, some of our kids, we might want to put them in sports, you know what I mean? That helps as well, give them an outlet. But also we have to give them structure. So if their goal is remain seated and you talk to your child about it and you let your child know exactly what that means and what you want to see, and then you talk to your child about why it's important for them to have self-control, self-discipline. What does that look like? Have a self-party, right? That's what I call it, a self-party. When they have more control over themselves, right? You have your child write the goal down. You have your child hang it up. And you review with them every day. And you set a goal for what that looks like. And every time there's a situation where they need to be seated, y'all talking about it. And your child is going to start to think, okay, I'm working on my goal right now, remaining seated. I'm going to sit properly. I'm going to show mommy that I'm sitting properly in the chair. You know, this is how I'm supposed to sit in the chair. They're working on accomplishing that goal. Because you've assigned it to them. You've had a conversation with them about it. You've asked them about it as well, had them talk about it. And it's up, you know, so it's serious if you hang it up, right? They wrote it down themselves, so they took ownership of it, and they're practicing. You have situations where they are practicing sitting properly, okay, and waiting to get up, because the child will be sitting, and then they'll think, oh, I want to go in the room and get this. Oh, I want to go over here and get that. Oh, another thing kids do. You might have 2 kids. You ask one of them to go get something for you. This one, you didn't ask this one to get it, but he'll jump up or she'll jump up and run clear across the room to get it, to do it first. They do the same thing in the classroom. I taught in the classroom as well. They do the same thing, right? So they're not thinking, right? They're being impulsive. The thought jumps in their head and they just fly across the room. So if they have a goal, they have something that they are focusing on, and you've been having conversations about it, no, this is my goal, right? Then before they start to fly across the room, they'll start to think. There's another thought that will go in there. My goal is remain seated. They'll start to catch themselves. They might hop up, because out of habit, they might hop up if you have to run across, and then go sit back down. They'll start to catch themselves. If you have a goal, walk through the house. If your child runs, right? Very, very active, right? Your child runs through the house instead of running everywhere. Walk down 2 steps, hop the other 3, run into the kitchen. You know, it's like, no matter what's going on, they always running. When they're in the classroom and they're supposed to be walking in the classroom, they might run. When they're supposed to be in a hallway walking to the bathroom, they might run to the bathroom instead, you know? And this is all just a lot for a teacher to manage, right? But if you have a goal, and you set the goal, and you talk to them about the goal, and they wrote it down, and they have it on the wall, and you have discussions about it, you have to have goal discussions, right? They will start to be more aware. So they might start to run. And then if part of them working on the goal is if they run, they got to catch themselves and walk back, and then take a deep breath and then walk properly. You got to have them actually acting it out. If they do that, after a while they're going to start to run, but then catch themselves and then walk back on their own and then start walking properly. This is what I've seen kids do over the years. The problem is we're not, as we always say, setting standards for our kids. We're not setting standards for them about these things. We're not giving them goals. We're not setting these high expectations for them because we're so busy trying to help them and manage them, right? Which is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. See, this is what I'm trying to get parents, I'm trying to get you to do and understand, is that it's like 50-50. 50% of it is you put a structure in place, you got it, but 50% got to be them. They got to take ownership of it, and they have to be working on it at the same time. It can't just be you trying to manage them all the time. Or maybe you might want them to master the nighttime routine, right? Master bedtime routine. When it's time for bed, man, they moving around, they twirling around, they hanging upside down on the bed. You got to get them in there so they can get their bath, and then they running around doing all this other stuff. And then you're like, this got to change. Okay, so you want them to master their bedtime routine. Your goal is at this time, watch the clock. At this time, you're supposed to go and get your towel ready, and if you do toys, whatever, get your towel ready and go hang it up in the bathroom, get your toys ready, and put out your pajamas so that you can have your bath. That's your goal. Every night at this time, right? Every night you focus on it. Boom. Every single night you say the same thing over and over again. After a while, and you're like, oh, you're working on your goal. Good job. Good job. You did that. You stopped what you was doing, cleaned up, and went and got your towel, right? After a while, they start doing it without you even saying it. Oh, you're working on that goal again. You're doing good. You're mastering that. I've seen so many kids when they have a goal and they take ownership of it, And at first you're directing them, you're setting it up. But we're not supposed to be on top of them forever. We're supposed to set it up, provide the structure. We're supposed to provide the expectation, and then we're supposed to give it to them. Have them take ownership of it. And at first, that's you every day, but then after a while, they'll just be boom, boom, boom. They'll just be doing it on their own because they're in emotion of it, and that's what they're thinking about, right? Now, here's what gets in the way, moms, of us actually setting goals for our kids and making sure they achieve them. It gets in the way because let's go back to that scenario where at bedtime it's chaos, right? And it's so difficult to get them to get in there to get their bath and get ready and stuff like that. It's because we're doing everything. We're like, okay, it's time for the bath. I'm going to lay out the pajamas. I'm going to grab the towel, put it in the room. I'm calling him. I called him 5 times. He's still not. He's moving around. He don't want to stop playing. I gotta take a bath. Come on, you gotta take a bath. Come on now. You fussing and because you're doing everything. You're doing everything. We gotta stop that. If you set a goal, this is your goal. That means it's your responsibility. And you praise them when they are doing it. Good job. Well, you did that fast. You already did that before I even had a chance to tell you, huh? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Good job, right? When you give them ownership of it, then it's less work for you, and plus they're now growing and developing these skills, right? That's the other thing. That's very important. But that's why we that's what gets in the way, because we're doing everything. Or let's say is remain seated. Your child needs to sit down. Their goal, and I have students in the program right now that just started, and that's their behavior goals, to remain seated. And when they have that goal, you want them to stay in the chair. You say stay in your chair, or sit down all day. You're saying sit down. If you talking too much, that means it's your goal. It's your responsibility. Your child is only thinking that they have to sit down when you tell them to, and not the first time. Every time you tell them, they'll sit down, but then they'll jump back up because they haven't taken ownership of it. So they, in their minds, they're thinking that they'll move around, wiggle around, do all this stuff, and you're gonna make them sit down. Okay, but what about when they're in a classroom? They're gonna get in trouble for that. And that's going to affect their self-esteem, because they're going to get in trouble because they keep jumping out the seat, and the teacher has to do the same thing, right? But what if you had your child take ownership of the goal, tell them exactly when they needed to sit, exactly how they needed to sit, and then you came in like an inspector, and you just walked in and said, well, here I come. I'll be over there in a few minutes. I want you to be ready. And then you walk in, and you inspect. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You got it together before I came in the room. That's how you're supposed to sit. Good job. Give me high five. Give me hug. Give me kiss. That's what I'm talking about, right? What if you did it that way? You gave them that initiative to sit properly. What if you gave them that goal, and then you also gave them responsibility to teach their younger brothers and sisters how to sit when it's time for dinner? What if you made them the leader in the house to show everybody how to sit properly, right? So when you give kids ownership, they grow so much. They grow so much into it. I have students come in, getting out their seat during the assessment, right? And I always ask moms to make sure you're not in the room. You could be over here listening and peeking in to see everything that's going on. That's fine. I'm a mom too. I understand. But don't let them know that you are right there, because kids act differently when their mom is in the room. They do. And I need to see how they react and respond when I give them these tasks. If they get up out of their seat, don't come in and try to get them to sit down and stuff. I need to see that. That's part of my assessment. Right? So that during the first assessment, getting up out of their seat, moving around, might get up and walk out the room. And I tell her, Mom, don't worry, just come, bring them down. Don't say anything, bring them back, and then walk out. That's it, right? So that's what they do. But after a few classes, they just sitting. They just sitting. We work on the goal, let them know that's their goal. You earn points for remaining seated, and it's an expectation, right? And I tell them exactly how to sit. I want you sitting down. I want your feet in front of you. I want your back against the chair. I want your hand on your pencil. Be ready. When I call on you, tell them exactly, give them direction. And then they fall, you did really good. You earned some good points because you stayed in that chair the whole class today. You didn't get up once. That's what I'm talking about. I like that. Good job. How you feel about it? You feel proud of yourself? Yeah, I feel proud of myself because I stayed in my seat, right? Make it a priority for them. Teach them how to prioritize it. Teach them how to set a goal and how to focus on it, right? And I say this all the time. We talk about how our kids are so unfocused nowadays, but we don't teach them what to focus on. Teach them to focus on a goal that's going to help them at home with you, and also is going to help them in the classroom. They must master. They'll have to be perfect at it, but they must get really good at having self-control and staying in their seat when they're supposed to. Okay? And then when I was teaching in special education, all day, just staying in your seat. Now, they're kids. So I had activities where they got out of their seat and we did fun things together and everything. But when it was time to sit down, it's time to sit down. And this is how you sit. This is what I expect to see. And if you want me to call on you, then I only call on students who are sitting properly. You know, because everybody be working. I used to call them up one-on-one to work with them on their writing, to review their quiz, you know what I mean, to practice reading with them, while everybody else. And I wasn't having them all getting up out of their seat, walking up to my desk, trying to get my attention. That's what kids be doing it for. They don't have the discipline to sit and be patient, which we have to work with them on that, but also they want the teacher's attention. So they'll be getting out of their seat and walk right up to the desk. How am I supposed to, as a teacher, teach and give the undivided attention to this student who needs it right now? I called them up for that. If this student or 2-3 other students want my attention too, and they get up out their seat and walk up, that's not going to work. So I didn't allow them to do that. Everybody had to be seated properly and doing their work. And then when I finish with this student, I send this student back. They get back to work. Everybody know what they're supposed to do. And then I call the next student up. I'm not calling you if you got up out your seat. I'm not calling you if you're not sitting properly. I'm not calling you if I don't see your pencil moving. That's not going to work. So there's expectations. We have to tell them exactly what we want them to do. And we have to teach them patience. And we can't have them thinking that they can always get up out of their seat and walk around and get the attention of the adults whenever they want to. That's chaos. That's chaos, and it does not help them. So having a goal for kids, your kids at home, is going to help them in the classroom. It's not just going to help them in the classroom. It's going to help them in life. What I've experienced is my students then telling me, Miss Sharita, I want my next goal to be this. I want to work on this. I want to get better at this. They will tell you. And this is when you know you have your child developing a champion mindset, a growth and achievement mindset. When they start to look at themselves and think about, what else can I achieve? What else can I accomplish? You know? When they start doing that, you know that they're developing that, and that's what you want. Whenever I talk about teaching our kids to function independently, this is what I mean. Doesn't mean that we're not going to be there for them. Doesn't mean we're not going to take care of them, nurture them, love them. But we want them to have a mind of their own and thinking of their own, where they can start to figure things out and they can start to believe that they can accomplish anything they want. And like, here's the simple process. I'm going to set a goal, then I'm going to work on it. and then I'm going to achieve it. And what else? What other goal do I want to achieve? But we got to do this at home. And I'm going to say this again. I said this earlier. For the ladies that hear me right now, thank you so much for hanging with me right now. This is so important. The most important part is not just the structure of it. The most important part of this is us as moms, as parents, believing that this is going to be achieved. Our children are going to achieve this goal no matter what happens. We're going to believe it, right? On good days and on bad days, right? Or rough days, we're not going to fall apart and think my child's doing so good and now they starting to do the other behaviors again. This is not working. Something must be wrong with my child that they can't keep it together. That's what happens. The stress of it, right? And the struggle to get there. That's what starts happening to our mind. We start to think and worry that it's not going to work. Something's wrong, right? But understand that every child is going to, whatever goal you set for them, it's an achievable goal. Don't let their behavior or their resistance or the fact that they did okay yesterday, but today you had to tell them like 5 times and they spinning all around and or they start to cry or whatever it is. Do not let their behavior make you not believe or make you lose faith. This is normal. For anybody setting a goal and achieving it, it's not an easy thing, right? But for kids, they have all the fears of, fear of failure, or I feel like a bad kid because I'm getting in trouble, or I'm getting redirected, or I got a consequence, or all that is happening. So a lot of times you're going to experience days where there's pushback, your child is crying, your child doesn't want to do it, they might get upset, they might act out more than it was before, there might be a bigger reaction than before. Don't let that scare you and have you feeling like it's not going to work. It is going to work. It definitely is going to work. This is just what's happening right now today, and it's temporary. It's temporary. So you stay strong, you stay grounded, stay focused on the goal. You teach your child, no matter how they respond, you teach them that this is your goal, this is your expectation. You know they're going to achieve it. When you see them working on it, you're like, that's what's up. That's what I'm talking about, right? Praise them. However which way you praise them. That's how I talk to my kids, my students, right? However which way you praise your kids, right? Don't rescue them when they start to struggle. Make it easier for them, because they have to achieve it, and they'll feel so good when they have done it themselves. And they'll be able to sustain it better if they have gone through what they need to go through. Just stay on it. Don't give up. Because they have to see you not giving up for them to think it's going to even work even a little bit. They have to see you having faith, no doubt. Like, even if you had days where you're so frustrated with your child, you could be frustrated. You know what I mean? It's going to be a journey. You can be frustrated, but in the end, you still let them know we're still moving forward, still staying on it. I know you got this. So back to the system. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to do. So tomorrow, when we start this is exactly what I want to see. Be ready. Say the same thing. Just be consistent. And when times get hard, make sure you have a plan for yourself so you can take care of yourself when you're stressed. Because it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. But this is so important for us to do at home so that the classroom is going to benefit. And I really feel like parents, we are a huge part of being able to change the game in the classrooms today. Classrooms across the country are struggling. The teachers are burnt out, they're quitting. The kids in a lot of classrooms are out of control. I've walked in classrooms and observed, Like the teacher, there's no learning. Teacher trying to teach, trying to talk over the class. Nobody's paying attention. Students are yelling, getting out of their chairs, asking to use the bathroom every 5 seconds, then just wandering the hallways, arguing with each other, not doing any work. Teacher working so hard to get through a lesson. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So we got this. We'll whatever you want your child to accomplish, think about it tonight. And write down 5 things that you want your child to get better at. It's going to be game changers for your child. Write down 5 things and turn them into goals and start working on them immediately. But only pick one at a time. And pick the easiest one. And be clear. Don't be like, I want my child to be good. Be like, I want my child to be able to sit for 8 minutes and write. Right? Be specific. Write it down. I want my child to put his clothes in a hamper. You know what I mean? Instead of on the floor. Throw some life skills in there. I want my child to be able to read a paragraph, and then every day they work on that same paragraph. You understand what I'm saying? Write down 5 things tonight that you want your child to get better at. And then after you do that, sit down and have a conversation with your child and ask them how they feel about being able to read better. And how do they feel when they get in trouble for getting out of their seat too much? What if they could get better at that? How would they feel? You understand? Ask them, have a conversation with them. Have them write down all the goals. Hang them up. And then have them practice every day. One at a time. And say, when you accomplish this goal, then we're going to move to the next one. But what I've noticed over the years is that when I have a few goals for students and we work on one goal, the other areas start to improve because they are learning how to think better, how to improve themselves. They're being trained and they're starting to have more self-control, self-discipline. So you'll see your child start to improve in other areas as well. But focus on one at a time so it's not overwhelming. All right? I want to thank y'all so much for hanging with me tonight. Okay? In May, we having our Mother's Day special coming up, so we're getting ready now, where I'll do 2 free classes for incoming students. Okay, so if you're interested in that, comment below or send me a message. I tutor and coach students, help them improve behaviorally and academically at the same time. I also have a parent coaching group starting, where I teach all my strategies to help kids improve reading and also math, right? That I've used over the years to teach any kid how to read. But my strategies is like academic strategies, but they're improving focus at the same time. They're improving their behavior at the same time. The way that I teach, it improves focus and improves reading at the same time. So I learned that when I was a mental health specialist and became a special education teacher, that we need to help kids improve behaviorally and academically at the same time. We can't just do one. For a lot of our kids out here, they need to improve both at the same time. And this is how you have the greatest, fastest, best transformations in kids, right? So thank you so much, everyone. All right, make sure you click that follow button and also click share, comment below, click like. Thank you, ladies, for hanging with me tonight. I am about to fart somewhere to use the bathroom because I'm sitting here chilling and talking and everything. All right, so y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Believe in yourself, believe in your child, honey, and always remember that growth is unlimited, and we got this. Peace. And thank you, Shabana, for hanging with me. All right, have a good night.